All right, guys, let's talk about Apple stock and how they bet the entire company on AI. And I'm not sure they're going to win. A little curious on how this is all going to play out. I'm not going to lie. Let's talk about Apple Intelligence. For 2 years, we've seen everyone else launch crazy AI, and Apple was just quiet. So now they're launching this thing called Apple Intelligence, and they've kind of shown their cards now. Some people think it's a joke. Others think it's the most brilliant business move in years. Yada yada yada. That's all I see on the internet. So what's the real story? Are they geniuses or are they going to fall behind? And we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about the bear case first. First, the obvious stuff. They're late. They're really late. Years AI has been around now, and you haven't heard anything from Apple getting involved. It's actually been pretty interesting to see how they've handled this. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but the bear case is pretty simple, is that they're really late to the game with this. And let's be honest, Siri is terrible. They haven't proven they can do it well. And the biggest red flag, in my opinion, so far is they had to partner with OpenAI, which is a competitor of theirs when it comes to the AI space. Now, I wouldn't say OpenAI is a direct competitor, but as far as like company to company, when apples and oranges, I feel like OpenAI is mainly just an AI company, right? And they don't make phones, is what I'm trying to say. But Apple is getting involved in the AI race to an extent at this point. And I guess Apple couldn't build the tech themselves because they're using OpenAI as a partner. That doesn't exactly scream confidence for me into this. This has people asking tough questions. Is Tim Cook is the right guy for this? He's been pretty silent lately. He's a master at running business, but is the product visionary enough for the company and the AI era? All right, let's talk about the bull case as well coming for Apple. Apple isn't playing the same game as everyone else. They're playing their game. And what I'm trying to say is privacy and profit. Privacy, this is their secret weapon. Your personal stuff, your text, your calendar gets processed on your phone. It's not being sent to some server from, some server farm for a company to read. Google can't compete with that. This is Apple's like privacy moat and profit. This is the real genius of it. The best AI features only work on the new iPhones. So for the first time in a long time, there's a real reason to upgrade your phone. And that goes for me. I haven't upgraded my phone. I don't even know what model iPhone I have, to be honest, as I'm looking at it. They're not just selling you AI. They're selling you a brand new expensive phone to run on it. And that's how they could win. And I do think that is a strong, strong case. However, my take on this is the Bears have a point for sure. The rollout looks slow, and the partnership with AI is a little weird. With OpenAI is a little weird. But the bull case is very powerful. They've created a killer feature that forces you to buy new hardware. That's a classic AI playbook. They let everyone else fight over who has the biggest brain while they quietly figure out how to make the most personal and profitable AI. It's going to be interesting. I'm actually curious what the future for Apple is. Do I think the company is going to go bankrupt? No. They're going to be making phones. They're fine. But I am curious to see how the Apple company does implement AI and try to profit from it. Especially if you need to buy a new phone, there's going to be some growth there, I would think. There's very, very hardcore Apple fans out there for sure. So I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out for Apple. Are they going to keep growing the way they are? Is there going to be a new phone company coming out? I know Elon Musk has mentioned Tesla possibly coming out with a phone at some point. Maybe and they might have a more powerful AI platform. So I am kind of curious to see how this all pans out. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are Apple's best days behind them, or they going to be set up for the future? We'll see. Let me know in the comments. Later, guys.